It's great to be back in Seattle. Some of you may or may not know that I actually lived here. My brother Shannon is here, who I hardly ever see, and my nephew Xavier is here. And so that's really wonderful. I have some fond memories of this place, and I have some terrible memories. And Shannon knows about the terrible and the fond memories. I learned a lot of valuable lessons about racial capitalism here. In fact, we can learn some in 2 minutes. So I arrived in Seattle beginning in the 4th grade, back in the 70s, early 70s, I should say, and was involved in what on the surface was like a social engineering experiment called busing. We lived in Capitol Hill at the time on an apartment on the corner of Pine and Madison, but almost all the kids on our bus were bused out to Ballard. And for those of you who don't know Seattle, Ballard was like a white community, very white, very Scandinavian. Well, I don't know if it still is, but but that's how it was. Central District was a black community. And let me say a little bit about that. So we were bused. I went to Laurel Heights Elementary School, then Marcus Whitman Junior High School. And most of the kids we picked up on the bus were in Central District. There was 23 of us. Now, I'm not going to talk about the psychological price that we paid, being 23 kids, being bused to all white schools, and the kind of racism that we experienced from students and teachers, and what that meant, and the trauma it left on us, the imprint it left on us. I won't talk about that. I'm going to talk about value. All the kids we picked up on that bus lived in the Central District, which was considered a ghetto. The value of their homes were considerably lower than they are now. The value of the schools that catered to these kids were considerably lower, which is the whole idea of being bused to these other schools. Busing was never about integration. It was a concession to families struggling to educate their kids and those who recognize education as a form of cultural capital. If you look at the Central District now, it's just not recognizable. I mean, a lot of us, we played sports for CAYA, Central Area Youth Association. Football, skiing, only time we had a whole bunch of black kids skiing was through CAYA, and which is kind of an amazing thing, because people on the slopes didn't expect us Friday nights, It was a very different kind of thing, but that was the whole point. So gentrification and its transformation is not about integration. It never was about integration. It's a modern form of settler colonialism